Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. It looks like Jesus still hates the Raiders, Perna. Merry Christmas to me and my beard. Because me, Jesus, and Ryan Fitzpatrick all have great beards, and all will not be fully appreciated until we're dead. The day after his birthday, JC rewarded the Dolphins with a show-stopping win on this Fitz face mask Hail Mary Mother of Godception to get the Dolphins into field goal range while also knocking the Raiders out of the postseason. It's called Fitzception because in the third layer of your dreams is the only place you will ever see this happen ever again. Today, I have the early version of Best and Worst from around the NFL. A Christmas game featuring the 12 touchdowns of Kamara, the 3 Saturday games, and the early slate of Sunday games tomorrow, or Monday afternoon, if you will. I will drop the rest of the Best and Worst as usual, plus the Big Dick Player Awards. But FitzMagic had me too excited after that Christmas break to not post this video Sunday night, and yeah. That's good sports. Welcome to my rainbow bukkake. Just testing it out, don't worry, not a permanent change. Now this may have been the greatest bench warmer week in NFL history. You had the spliff of the NFL, Josh Rosen backing up CJ Beathard. CJ gets a huge win, throwing 3 tugs 1 year after losing his brother. Josh Rosen has been passed around so much, his Twitter profile has a photo of him from the NFL draft where he was selected by the Cardinals with a Dolphins banner with the text saying he is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback while he was activated for the first time this season as a 49ers quarterback. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick came off the bench to keep Miami in the playoffs, and the Browns had to start all bench warmers at the wide receiver position. That is why I created Benchwarmer Brew, to honor the underdogs who are undefeated in moral support. BenchwarmerBrew.com. Buy my coffee so I can get fucking rich. Saints vs. Vikings. Best? Alvin, Simon, and Kamara scored 6 rushing touchdowns on Christmas. He needed all 3 personalities for this one too. And that is the most rushing touchdowns in a single game in 91 years in the NFL. Ernie Nevers did it last. And he died saying, "Nobody will nevers do that again," which the double negative technically made that true. Worst, Sean Payton wasted one of those touchdowns on Taysom Hill. Kamara could have had 7 and owned the NFL record. Worst, the Vikings defense giving up 52 points on Christmas. Next to say a Packers sweater, that's the worst gift you could give to a Vikings fan. The Vikings officially out of the postseason despite having a better record than the Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles, and the Saints clinched the NFC South. Bucs Lions, worst. No matter what happens, Tom Brady will always have the path of least resistance to the postseason. The Bucs clinched a playoff spot because they got to play the Lions, who had to replace Matthew Stafford after 2 series, and had none of their defensive coaches due to COVID, including interim head coach Darrell Bevell, so Tom goes to the playoffs after defeating the assistant to the regional manager in Detroit, and people really think he made Bill Belichick a success because of this game. Blaine Gabbert threw 2 fucking touchdowns on 9 completions. The Lions were giving them away like drunk Santa with super gonorrhea. If you thought I wasn't going to talk about super gonorrhea when it was trending on Twitter today, you don't know me at all. 49ers versus Cardinals. George Kittle.
I did grow up a Bears fan, and the fact that we helped the Bears a little bit just makes me a little happier. So, the Bears. The Bears! I fucking love the Bears.
And we all love George Kittle. Here's something weird. I went to elementary school with one guy named George, and he was literally the only 49ers fan I knew. I bet George is loving George now. Worst, a big reason the Cardinals will struggle is because Vance Joseph is their defensive coordinator. He will always get out-coached by smarter opponents. That's exactly why his defense gave up 183 rushing yards to Jeff Wilson. I once worked with a Jeff Wilson. But unlike George from elementary school, he didn't give a shit about football. Wilson had one more rushing yard than CJ Beathard had passing yards in this game. Best, Kyle Shanahan figuring out how to get Kyle Juszczyk 2 receiving touchdowns. Although the way CJ can take a hit, I think he might have some fullback DNA in him as well. Dolphins versus Raiders, game of the week, Ryan Fitzception. Best, Hunter Renfrow is the embodiment of sneaky quick, sneaky fast. There's no reason a man with his build and his milky white skin should be making this many people miss on a punt return. Best, the last few minutes of this game, and the Raiders proving the point I have been trying to make all season long. Scoring touchdowns is better than field goals. Now, Nelson Aguilar ignited the fireworks, scoring an 85-yard touchdown, dropping nothing but points on the other team. Then, Myles Gaskin broke a dozen ankles like a real Hunter Renfrow on his way to taking the lead on a 59-yard tutty. Myles scored with a little less than 3 minutes left in the game. Plenty of time for the Raiders to channel their inner Falcons and Chargers and choke harder than Mike Mayock and John Gruden when they see a Clemson draft prospect with the 4th round grade they value as a first. Somehow, the Raiders, with less than 2 minutes in the game, can't run out the clock properly, even with a first down being gifted to them due to a penalty. Somehow, NFL head coaches think scoring touchdowns is worse than kicking field goals, as Josh Jacobs slides short of the end zone on purpose. Remember when Todd Gurley accidentally scored a touchdown in the Falcons' loss? Well, here are the Raiders not scoring a touchdown and losing. The point, teams with suck-ass defenses will lose no matter how you score. You think forcing the other team to score a touchdown in this scenario is worse, John Gruden? Sure, run off more clock, but kneeling at the 1 yard line instead of just handing off again? Football coaches have gone dumb because of analytics. Worst, not understanding that getting into field goal range with one of the best kickers in the NFL is much easier to do than scoring a touchdown in the final minute of an NFL game. You had a 99.9% win probability and botched that. Good job, Raiders. Even Dan Quinn and Anthony Lynn are like, how the fuck did you do that, Gruden? Can you teach us your ways, Darth Shittiest? In 50 years, when Rip Van Ginkel wakes from his nap in the woods, touchdowns will still be better than field goals. Just like Ryan Fitzpatrick's neck will always beat the guillotine. You think a face mask will stop him, Raiders? Ryan Fitzpatrick, with the game on the line, completes this Fitzception pass while having his head exercised 360 degrees. Best, Tua being named the starter for Week 17. I have no issue giving Ryan Fitzpatrick the Benchwarmer Brew Player of the Week award every damn week for the rest of the season. Browns vs. Jets, worst? The Browns, who are vying for playoff positioning, were forced to sit wide receivers Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Kaderil Hodge, and linebackers Jacob Phillips and B.J. Goodson due to COVID and close contact. That's 2 starting linebackers and 4 of their 5 starting receivers. Best, none of those receivers would have been able to stop Sam, call me Tonka, because all I do is truck yo ass Darnold. Best, luckily the Browns were playing the Jets this week. Worst, the Browns were playing the Jets this week in the post-Greg Williams era. Thank you, Jets, for proving he was by far the worst defensive coordinator in the game, just like I said. The Jets held Bradley Chubb and Kareem Hunt, or Chunt, as Browns fans call the duo, to 4 rushing yards in the first half. Best, the hypnotic spell kicker Cody Parkey has put on Kevin Stefanski. There's no other way to explain why he still has a roster spot, as he doinked another kick. This time it was a point after try. Yes, that point was important, and the Browns lose, proving starting caliber wide receivers are important. Fortunately for Cleveland, the Colts lost, so the Steelers actually did them a huge solid, the kind Odell likes, and now the Browns have the 7th seed in the AFC and must win next week. Giants versus Ravens. Best? The Ravens now control their own destiny due to the Browns and Colts loss. They needed just one of those teams to lose, and they both fucking lost. Best? Dez Bryant caught a touchdown pass again this week. That's the first time Dez has had back-to-back games with the touchdown since a really long time, probably. I didn't look it up. Bears versus Jaguars. Best? The Jacksonville Jaguars fans roaring with cheers of joy after Jimmy Graham and the Bears took the early lead.
Field now the pass over the middle, touchdown. That's Graham on the...
That's how you commit to the tank, Jags fans. And with the Jets win today, you now have the #1 pick in the NFL draft. It is confirmed. Worst, Mitch Trubisky scrambling for days only to try and foil the Jags' plans to tank. Throw it away, Mitch. I know there's shade in the end zone there, but if you see 5 Jags defenders, throw it away. Best, unlike the Arizona Cardinals, the Bears do have the kind of defense to fuck around and win a playoff game. But I stick by my statement from last week. The Bears will be the most overhyped team heading into Week 17. Yes, they put up 41 on the Jags. And yes, they have won 3 straight, but they beat the Texans, the Vikings, and the Jags, who are all NFL fools gold. Falcons, Chiefs. Best? Oh, the Chiefs. Wasting this super cute choreographed spin move pre-snap on the Falcons. Worst? The Falcons not realizing that on 4th and 1, this trick play would be an arm punt, and that intercepting the ball would cost you 20 yards in field position and pin you at the 1-yard line. Much like Keanu Reeves with Cyberpunk 2077, Keanu Neal is wondering, what the fuck was I thinking there? The Falcons are out there playing checkers, and Andy Reid is playing drinking games with gravy. Best, the Falcons driving the length of the field to score a touchdown anyway. Best, Foye Oluokun picking off Patrick Mahomes on the goal line. I just hope everyone got a forest lamp to illuminate their Foye Oluokun. Just like Foye Oluokun is illuminating the cracks in the Chiefs' armor. Worst, nobody on the Falcons' defense blocking Tyreek Hill and preventing him from ruining what could have been a glorious pick 6. That was Mahomes' first ever pick on a goal-to-go play. Worst, AJ Terrell dropping what would have been Mahomes' second pick in the end zone. That could have ended the game, and the Falcons could have won. Instead, Mahomes fires an easy touchdown pass to Demarcus Robinson on the very next play. Worst, Travis Kelce broke the single-season receiving yards record for a tight end, surpassing George Kittle, who is about 1 million times more likable than Travis Kelce. This is like ranking Donald Trump ahead of Mother Teresa as a humanitarian because he didn't take a salary as president. Worstest? Younghoe Koo missing the game-tying field goal. Hard to blame Koo, though, when the announcers cursed him before the kick by mentioning that he was a perfect 27 of 27. Bengals vs. Texans. Worst, the fact that this game still had to be played. Best, Deshaun Watson was able to throw his 100th touchdown pass in the NFL. Brandon Allen threw for 371 yards coming off the bench for the guy who came off the bench for him last week, and now due to the Texans' loss, the Dolphins have a top 5 pick in the 2021 draft. Colts versus Steelers. Worst? The Steelers and Colts are kind of the same team with just a couple different flaws. Old QB, check. Great defense, check. Good running game, Colts. Clutch QB, not Colts. No run game at all, Steelers. But since Phillip Rivers will always, and I mean always, throw a fourth quarter interception when his offense needs to score, Pittsburgh wins behind just 20 rushing yards and clinches the AFC North. Best, Jonathan Taylor actually having an incredible 2-yard rushing touchdown versus the one Pittsburgh had that Tony Romo tried to hype up as old-fashioned Steelers punch-you-in-the-mouth football. Phillip Rivers threw his 420th NFL touchdown pass in this game. To most people, 420 signifies a time to roll a spliff and pass around a burning rosin. To Phil, it's time to unroll a condom and immediately throw it in the trash and make another baby. Worst, terrible officiating let the Steelers back into this game, giving the black and gold 2 bad pass interference calls on one drive, including one the Colts tipped that should have waived the penalty. Everybody knows a tip ball waives pass interference, except for the guys who get paid to fucking know that. And I know everyone is down on the Steelers. They did lose 3 straight games, and they did not look great against the Colts in the first half. But maybe this is intentional by Pittsburgh. Tim Tebow once lost 3 straight at the end of the season and still got his team into the playoffs, ironically besting Phillip Rivers and the Chargers for the AFC West Division title. And then he went on to upset the Steelers in the wild card round. Maybe Pittsburgh is just trying to undo their Tebow curse. Maybe that's the real reason Big Ben found the big man upstairs. Then again, maybe this is just one of the weirdest seasons of football we will ever live through. Again, tomorrow, best and worst, coming up. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. And Benchwarmerbrew.com. That's where my personal coffee brand is.